Communication is a key to having a better relationship. Communication shows how you are relating with others in different places at different times. Have you thought of adding another language to what you have already known? In your career, in your profession, have you thought of having or adding another language? Welcome to Inspired Hands Ministries, and my name is Juliet. Today we are talking about the importance of having sign language. The importance of having or knowing sign language. Sign language, we all know that it's a language that is being used by people who are deaf, people who cannot communicate, people who cannot speak normally. So they use sign language. Today, I want to ask you a simple question. This simple question: do you know sign language? Today, I am not talking with the interpreters. Today, I am not addressing the deaf people, but today I want to address parents who don't know sign language. Research has shown that most people who are deaf, many people or children who are deaf are born with parents who are hearing. But my question and my concern is this: these parents who are hearing, do they all know sign language? Research still shows that parents who have children who are deaf don't know sign language. Yes, I want to ask the parents, how do you communicate with this child who don't know how to talk? How are you conversing with this child who is deaf? I have met different parents confessing without hiding anything that they don't know sign language, but they have children or they have a child who is deaf. I am just a curious person. How do you communicate with this child who is deaf? Don't you know that there is an impact when you don't know how to communicate with a child who is deaf? Number one, you need to know sign language. The reason why you need to know sign language is when you are communicating, when you are conversing and socializing with your child, you create that a strong bond between the two of you. But if you don't know sign language, how are you going to communicate? How are you, both of you, how are you going to socialize? How are you people going to bond if you don't know one another's language? Knowing sign language and having a child who is deaf is different. Having relatives who are deaf and you knowing sign language is a different thing. Most of the time, there are people who have relatives who are deaf, but it's so unfortunate that these people don't know how to communicate with these deaf relatives. Hey, I am talking to parents. If you are a parent and you have a deaf child, how do you communicate with this kid? How do you converse with this child? Research has shown that most parents don't know sign language, but they have children who are deaf. It's so sad that that is the reality today. But my question is, you as a mother, you as a father, when you don't know sign language, how are you communicating with this child who you have, and you're staying with this kid in the same house? How are you communicating? How do you know the feeling, the emotions of this child if you don't know how to communicate with them? How do you express yourself? How do you tell them that you're not happy with what they have done? How do you show them that I'm amazed, I'm happy with what you have already done? Do you just smile or you just frown your face? How will this child know that you as a parent, you are caring and you're so concerned about their lives? Parents, I am seriously asking you, please kindly learn basic sign language. It will help you, because when you don't know sign language, it means there's no that parent-child bonding. How will the two of you bond together but you don't know how to communicate? How? How will the two of you know what's happening, how to express yourself, if you don't know one another's language? That's a serious question which each and every parent must answer. When you're not concerned about the child, because you find that a deaf child, maybe you have 4 children, and all the three are hearing, but there's this one who is deaf. So how are you communicating? Because you as a parent, mostly if all of you are hearing, all your attention will be diverted and you'll be speaking with this hearing kids. How about this deaf child? Have you thought of how this child is feeling? Have you thought of how this deaf child is trying to interpret the world around them? Maybe you're seated, you're having your lunch or your dinner, and you're eating, you're stirring. All that this deaf child is seeing is your mouth moving. You're just talking, but this kid does not understand what the three of you are talking about. And so it makes this child feel rejected. This child will start feeling, maybe I am not important. Maybe I don't have any value in life in this family also, because no one is concerned with me. Think about that. What if it is you? How will you feel? How? You as a parent, how do you know that this child is sick? Because if it's a hearing child, they will tell you, Mom, you know what? I am sick. I am feeling hungry. I am not happy. I want to go and play. I want to go and join others and play outside. And possibility of you responding is high. But think about this child, this deaf. How are you communicating, the two of you, if you don't know sign language? It's important. Please, parent, don't ignore this child. It's better for you to learn basic sign language. It's important. It will help you one of these fine days. Think about emergency situation. Think about this emergency situation. I hope that you parents, please go and learn sign language. Please, it's important so that you can fix yourself and socialize, communicate freely, lovingly with this child. And also teach these other children who are hearing. I am happy that there are other parents who are so proficient. They're so smart. They already know how to communicate with their children in sign language, which is a good job. And I really want to celebrate you today. Now, the second group which I want to address today: teachers, doctors, lawyers, accountants. Which group? Pastors. Different professionals. Let's start. If you are a teacher, how do you teach deaf children? How do you teach deaf children? Because reality, there are teachers outside there who don't know sign language well, but they are teaching. How are you teaching a child who you don't understand their language? Number 2, lawyers, advocates. How do you defend this client who is deaf? I know you can call interpreter. That's fine. But personally, individually, do you know basic sign language? It's important. You can have, because sometimes people don't truly trust 100%. I also don't trust 100%. Why? Why? The same thing happens with the deaf. Maybe they don't trust interpreters 100%. Maybe there's an information which they want to share with you secretly, privately. They want to share this information with you privately. But imagine, now you don't know sign language. Hapo tutasaidiana aje? Kama wewe haujui lugha ya ishara. Another special group. This one is special. This one is too special. The Catholic fathers. When every Sabbath you need your Christians, your congregation to go and confess their sins. Imagine this is a deaf person, wants to go and confess their sins. How do this person do this? How? Because I believe not all the situation an interpreter needs to be included. Some things are very private. Yes. Catholics, how do you do your confession? Priests, how can a deaf person confess their sins to you but you don't know sign language? How? Mimi nataka kujua vipi, kwa sababu wakati mwingine utaambiwa nenda useme haya maombi. Atajua aje? Huyu atajua aje? Don't you see the need? Don't you see the need of you knowing sign language? It's important. Not all the time you need an interpreter. Apana. There's some situation, there's some things which are very private that a deaf person maybe will not want an interpreter around. Apana. Each and every person has their own private things which they don't which they don't want to share everywhere with any other person. Hapana. How? Another group, the second special group, daktari. You doctors, nyinyi, I'm talking with you. Now, naongelesha leo. How do you communicate with a deaf child, a deaf person? The communication between the doctor and this person was different. Like, they were not understanding one another. Hawaelewani. The deaf anasema hii, daktari hii ameelewa hii. At the end of the day, mnapeana the wrong medication. This is a very serious thing. And personally, I think all doctors, nurses, caretakers, please learn sign language. Sometimes you find a deaf person is sick, and sincerely, maybe they have private things which they want to say, but cannot say because how? Nitaita interpreter na upate ni interpreter ni mdomo, ana cannot keep secret. Tunafanya aje hapa? Because sio all interpreters sorry, not all the interpreters abide with the ethics of interpretation. Sio wote. Interpretation is like any other career. So don't expect all the interpreters to keep secrets. Kuna wengine wenye wako yes. Doctors, counseling, psychology and counseling, counselors. How do you communicate with deaf people? How? This group of people, special group, which must, I think and feel that must know sign language. Hakuna excuse, hapana. No. You must know this language because it's important. It's to help you, to help your client, to help your patient. Sometimes you find yourself in a serious emergency, serious and terrible situation. Wewe unaenda kukimbia kutafuta interpreter, utampata wapi? Where are you going to get the interpreter? Where? This is an emergency. This is an emergency which has just happened. Maybe it's an accident which has just happened. Are you going to call interpreter? Hey, interpreter, where are you? Come, we have an accident. Come and help us interpret. What if you don't know any interpreter? Huh? What if you don't know interpreter? What will you do? That's my question.